Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be building my very first PC. Yep, so all this is all spent with my money. There are a couple of hiccups down the road to getting this, but yeah. So you can just follow me along while I build the PC. So yeah, let's get into it. Alright, so I just got the power supply out of the box. Now, the best safety practice you can do when you're building a PC, here's a tech tip for you, is make sure to ground yourself. So you can you don't have to get this, but you can get an anti-static wristband that can go onto your power supply. So yeah, that's pretty handy. So yeah, you just plug it into the grill of the power supply, and then wrap it around your wrist, and then you are grounded. Alright, we're grounded, we are ready to go. Let's do this. Alright, starting off with the motherboard. We have an... oh, wrong way around. Starting off with the motherboard, we have an Asus Prime B550M... oh sorry, A Wi-Fi edition. Now, I originally was going to go with the Asus Prime B450 non-Wi-Fi edition, but unfortunately they had that out of stock. So I decided to go with this motherboard, because otherwise I would have had to pay around roughly $25 for a Wi-Fi antenna, but this already has Wi-Fi and it was about $20 more, so I guess that's fine. So yes, this motherboard does have Wi-Fi, so it comes with these little antennas here. So yep, it's nice to have. We'll put this across. Then we have the motherboard here itself. Yep. So then we have the I/O shield and two SATA cables. We'll chuck the rubbish out of the way. Now, the safest way you can protect your motherboard or any other components is use the box that it came with. So I am going to use the box, because most of the time they have to be anti-static. So yeah, we're going to use it for the motherboard. So let's pull it out, place it on the box, get this out of here, and then we are ready to go. Alright, so our CPU. We went with the AMD Ryzen 5 3500X. Now I know you're thinking 6 cores, 6 threads, but hey, okay, so in the beginning I was going to get a Ryzen 5 2600. I know it's second gen, but still it's 6 cores, 6 threads, and yeah, it's still a great processor for the price. But this came along and the 2600 was out of stock, and theoretically this should do better. Although it's 6 cores, 6 threads, this one has a higher base and turbo. So yeah, this should be more than enough powerful for my needs. And yes, this does come with the AMD, I think it is the Wraith Stealth stock cooler. So yeah, no need for a cooler, but if you want to get one, you can. Little AMD cards, please read. Yeah, okay, cool, nice. Installation instructions, thank you. And then we have the processor itself. Oh, look at that, that looks awesome. Very proud of that. Now, you're going to have to lift up this and then put it back up. Just get everything out of the way. Take this, pull it open slightly. Now we're going to line the golden triangle up with the triangle on the motherboard. And we're just going to slot it in nice and gently. Like that. Awesome. Then we can put the little pin down little bit of pressure, and then our CPU is installed. Yay! Right, now for the rest of the CPU, you can't just have it out there in the open where it's going to get hot, it's going to get tan, it's going to get really hot, so we need the stock cooler. So before you open the stock cooler, you see these brackets here. These are for third-party coolers. Some third-party coolers, most likely Corsair and stuff, they use these. But yeah, we don't need to use these, so we can take them off. Now, it is good practice to keep your screws nice and organized. Unfortunately, I'm not going to do that. I'm probably going to regret it at some stage today. But yeah, continue taking off these brackets. Right, here's one, and we've got the next one. Right, let's get the stock cooler out of the box. Alright, let's get it out of the box. Here we are, stock cooler. Nice big boy. It does have thermal paste pre-applied, so yep, we don't need to worry about that. And yep, it requires a fan header, so what we're going to do is, you need to line it up with the AMD logo on the left of your motherboard, so where the I/O is. Alrighty, so we can screw this in. Now, it is good practice that you do diagonal, so then if you just do two up and down, it's going to be wonky and it's going to be hard to get the other ones done. So make sure you do diagonal. So just a wee bit on that side, then a wee bit on that side, and then across and across. So you get the idea. Alright, the cooler is installed, and now we just need to go ahead and plug in the fan. So you put it into the one that is named CPU fan. Make sure it looks nice and tidy, cable manage it, and then boom, your stock cooler is ready to go. Your CPU is done. Alright, next thing we have is the RAM. So we went with the HyperX Fury high performance memory, 16 gigs, 2x8, 3200 megahertz. So Ryzen loves lovely fast RAM, so 3200 megahertz and up, maybe 3000 megahertz and up. It's pretty much what it needs. It's a standard. Okay. Funny story about this is we actually got given on accidental purposes 32 gigs instead of 16, which means it almost cost me twice as much. So we went back to the store, got 16 gigs, and yeah, so we will install these now. So let's cut open the box, pull it out. Here we are, lovely 16 gigs of DDR4 memory, lovely stuff. Let's just get this other stuff out of here. Right, so the way that you do this is we want to get this out. So the way we are going to install this is, so you are going to get, normally it's the grey DIMM slots, so that is second and the fourth slot. So you want to pull those out, pull the things out. Now sometimes they have it stuck on one side, which in this case it is. So you're going to pull just out on the one side, which will most likely be the top. And then you just want to line them in, and then as you can see there is a little notch there as well, so they can only go in one way. So here we are, put them in like that, boom, one stick done. Right, next stick, grab it out. So this is, yeah, HyperX Fury RAM, DDR4, great stuff, really fast. Right, so we're going to put it in, put it up. And boom, another stick installed. So your RAM is now installed. I'm sorry, but this is not a build guide at the moment. If you want me to do a actual PC build guide where I get maybe a budget range If you want to see what a budget PC, I can do that for you guys, and I'll show you how to build it. So yeah, if you want to do that, make sure to hit the subscribe button and smash the like button. Alright, next up is the SSD. So we have an NVMe SSD, which is 240 gigabytes, and it is an NVMe SSD. Now this is going to be our boot drive, and yeah, so we can put Chrome. We're going to have Windows 10 on it, obviously, for our boot drive. We're going to have Chrome, Discord, anything you think that you use quite often. I wouldn't recommend putting games on your boot drive. You should get a hard drive, 1 terabyte hard drive or something, separate for your games and other stuff, other media. But yeah, so we're just going to use this for our boot drive. Right, here we are, Kingston 240 gig, like that. Now, in your motherboard box, it should come off these little screws. These are going to be the M.2 screws. So this is what you're going to be putting into your motherboard. So first off, you want to check the size of your screw. I'll just rotate this around just so you can see what I'm doing. So you want to check the size of your M.2. It should be this one here. So the third from the slot. Then we want to open up the screw box, screw little bag. Now I should say, it is very important that you do not lose those screws. You won't get them anywhere else apart from the motherboard box. So yeah, it is important that you do not lose those screws. You're going to grab the little kind of standoff thing for your M.2, put it in, and you're just going to screw it in if you can. Make sure it's nice and tight, like that. And then you want to grab your M.2. Now, as I said, this isn't a build guide, but I'm just going to do it anyway. So you want to slide your M.2 in diagonally, like so. So then it should just rest there like that. Just put this back on, just opening it up, opening the door up. It's really hot here, I'm not sure what temperature it is, but yeah. Alright, so as I said, so it will stay like this, that's normal. Then you just want to press it down a wee bit. Now that is normal, don't feel like you're breaking it or anything. Then you want to grab your little M.2 screw. Actually, hang on, I'll just get the screwdrivers out for this. You got it in like that, then you can just screw it on. Right, that is everything we can install on our motherboard at the moment. Shall we get the case out, shall we? Alright, this is the case. We have the NZXT H511. Yep. So this is, I suppose, you could say the older brother on the H510. So there's a couple of different things about this. So it does have, it doesn't have any USB Type-C ports on the front panel. It only has 2 USB 3. That's Type A USB. So yeah. And then the front panel is a wee bit different as well. It's a really nice case. I enjoy it quite a bit. It's one of my favourite cases. I was going to originally go for the H510, but they gave us this. And I mean, it's not much difference. It's pretty much the same thing. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. But yeah. Alright, so I'm just going to pop out the back panel, pop that out first, pull out, and then like that. We have the back panel, awesome. Right, we'll just chuck this down here. Don't chuck it literally, but like, you know what I mean. So that brings us open to the back of the case, where we have all the cable management stuff. We have the stuff for routing your cables. And then we also have the front panel connectors as well. This case also has 2 fans as well, 2 pre-included fans, so that is always nice to have. Right, we are also going to remove the front panel as well. Now this one has tempered glass, which is great. It is always so much better to have tempered glass rather than acrylic. Acrylic gets scratches on it and it just doesn't look as nice. Where tempered glass looks so much better, yeah. Now remember, look after your screws, don't want to lose them. Put them in a container if you have to. So for this one, you pull, these little grommet things in them. That's it. Take it out. Boom. There you go. Now this is actually glass, so we're going to put it down somewhere nice and soft. So we have a couch over there, so I'm going to put it down there right now. So in this we have, I quite like this actually, this is quite funny for NZXT. We have a little box that comes with all the accessories that we need for the case. So yeah, it's quite nice to have. I like it how they actually put it in the hard drive bay as well. So yeah, that's pretty cool. The cable connectors manual, and we also have some of the other stuff, like zip ties, a couple of screws, actually quite a few screws actually, and then we also have the cable, the headphone jack splitter. So if you have a microphone and headphone splitter, 2 cables, and this one only has 1. So it's nice that they come with a little splitter on them. Now in this one, this has been defaultly set for an ATX board. Here we have a micro ATX board. So I'm just gonna make sure that we have all of the things that we need. Oh, hello cat, how are you? No, you don't go in there. So just make sure that you have all the standoffs in place. Now these standoffs are mandatory. If you don't have them, they can actually, the motherboard can end up touching the metal of the case, and then that can fry the motherboard. Then that declares your motherboard as toast. Right, so I've just removed all the standoffs and I've replaced the standoffs for the micro ATX configuration. So NZXT does come with this little tool. Now these are really helpful. I feel bad for anyone that doesn't come with this. This should be a standard, honestly. But yeah, it's just so much more helpful for removing standoffs. But yeah, so make sure to put your IO shield into your case. Line it up on how it goes. Make sure you lined it up like that. Awesome. Put it in from the case. Make sure it's all in. It clicked. Now you want to do this on an angle. Line it up with the IO. Right, so we've just installed the motherboard. So that is great. Now we need to grab our standoff screws from our little NZXT case, in NZXT box. Alright, we have our standoff screws, and now we're just going to go ahead and install those. And our motherboard is installed. Now before we get into anything else, I'm just going to real quick remove this top pre-installed fan, and I'm going to replace it down in the front. Now the reason I'm doing this for the start is because the fans that we ordered haven't arrived yet, so I'm just going to remove this so we can get some intake and exhaust cool air going. Put this back in, we'll screw it back on, and I'll just reroute it, and then we'll get on to the power supply. Right, okay, before we do that, I'm just going to plug in the front panel connectors, and yeah, and then we'll get the power supply in. Right, front panel connectors are done, so we can go ahead and install the power supply. Awesome. Now you might have been wondering what we got. We got the EVGA 600 watt 80 plus gold. Now this has a 5-year warranty on it. This is more than enough that we actually need to power this unit, but I got 600 watts just so we have lots of upgradability down the line. Now when you're installing the power supply, you want to make sure that your fan faces down, so then it can get the cool air from the bottom. The screws for the power supply, so now we are just going to go ahead and screw it in. Alright, power supply is installed. That is great, and now we can go ahead and we can start routing some of the cables. So yeah, I am going to be working on some cable management now, and yeah, I'll come back to you later. Alright, so cable management is done, and we have a practically working system now. Apart from the graphics card, which most of you have been waiting for, I suppose, we went with the Radeon RX 5500 XT. Now, we were going to go with a 1660 OC from Asus ROG, but they ended up being way overpriced than what they should be. So yeah, we decided to go for a 5500 XT. Lots of performance in this card for low price. And yeah, let's slot it in and power it on. The RX 5500 XT. My power color. That's it. So make sure to keep a hold of these when you have your PC, because if you need to replace the graphics card, or if you're just going to sell the case or anything, just make sure you keep a hold of these, because they are nice to have. And yeah, your graphics card. Right, and then we just want to slot it in. Like so. And then we have the graphics card in, then we can go ahead and screw back in the little screws and secure the graphics card, plug it in, and then we will boot it up, see whether it can power on. Alright, the build's done. We are going to grab a monitor, some keyboard and mouse, and then we're going to plug it in and see whether it works. Alright, let's power on the system, shall we? So let's flip the switch. Nothing wired up yet. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Check that we're getting anything. Oh, yep. Yes. Hey, we've booted. Awesome. So we'll boot it up. Alright guys, so this is the end of the video. Yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. It was just something different, I guess. Yeah, so if you want to see more like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you want to see the TV behind us, we did a review on that. You can go check that out somewhere down there. And yeah, so we'll see you guys in the next one. See yous.